Hello and welcome back to App for You. In this particular video, we will continue our discussion on 01 knapsack problem. So, I hope you have already watched my videos on 01 knapsack solved using recursion. So, what we have been discussing so far is, in the previous videos, what we have covered is, we had covered about the 01 knapsack problem, right? And we saw that this can be solved basically using recursion. And we have explained this particular video, and you can see it is present in this file that I have uploaded, okay, in the drive link provided in the description box. And we also in the previous video we discussed how it can be solved using recursion plus using a table, and this was nothing but this concept is called memoization. So we discussed this also, that how the problem of 01 knapsack can be solved using memoization. Now why was memoization required? Now you see, memoization is one of the concepts in dynamic programming, right, in DP, that is used in DP, and the concept is very simple: to prevent recalculating the same value, recalculating the same function. For example, when I was solving the problem of 01 knapsack using recursion, I hope you remember that the time complexity in that case was order of 2 power n. Now what was the major issue? Now I have already addressed the major issue in this particular problem. The major issue was that there are circumstances where the same function is computed again and again. If you remember, in the previous video I have explained you in the video of memoization, that suppose there is a function k1 comma 1, and again somewhere in another node you will have the same function k1 comma 1. Now this has its own subtree, this has its own subtree. If you don't use memoization, what is happening is this function execution is taking time, and this function is also needs to be executed, right, if you are not using memoization. Now you can see that the value of these both functions will be same because they are pointing to the same function and receiving the same input, so definitely their output will be same only. So why to waste time recalculating the same value again and again? So what should be the alternative? The alternative is, the moment you solve it the very first time, you better store its result into a table, and the next time when that particular function will be called, you better check whether that particular function has already been evaluated, and if it is evaluated, directly access the value from the table rather than just traversing the entire tree, the recursion tree, to get the answer. So you can see, likewise, if I have very large number of input, then there are many chances, there are very high chances of having this overlapping subproblems issue. Now what is overlapping subproblems? You can see this subproblem are same, right? So if you have very large input, then there are many overlapping subproblems that exist, and this is where DP concept can be exploited. How? You know that DPs provide us with a concept called memoization. Now what happens in memoization is, we create a table, and we try to store the value of every subproblems. Now later on, when we want to solve a problem, we check whether its value is already computed or not. If it is already computed, we don't evaluate the function, right? If it is not computed, then we just evaluate the function, right? For example, if you have two occurrences of this function, the first time obviously you will need to calculate it, and you will simultaneously update the value in the table. Next time again you see that this particular function also wants the value inside this cell. Now obviously I already have calculated this function, so I'll directly access from the table. This way basically we found out that the time complexity was reduced from order of 2 power n to order of n into w. N is the number of items, W is the capacity of knapsack, right? Because the dimension of this table was W plus 1, and this was basically N plus 1. So N plus 1 cross W plus 1. Ignoring the constant, the time complexity was found to be order of N cross W. Now this particular function, this particular concept basically of memoization used what? Recursion plus table. You can still see that it has the implementation of recursion. Now we know that if you compare recursion with an iterative version, the issue with recursion is it can lead to stack overflow. Okay, it can lead to stack overflow. Why? Because in recursion it uses stack space, right, to keep track of the functions so far that has been called. It maintains a stack space. So what is the issue is, if you have very large number of input, and suppose very much recursive calls are made, too much recursive calls are made, so in that case what might happen is, the requirement of stack space might increase, and it might lead to stack overflow. So we can still not rely on this particular concept of solving this particular problem, right? Which means, you remember, we solved the problem using recursion. We try to optimize it by using recursion along with table, but still you can see obviously this is better, much better than this. But again, there might be a issue that is called stack overflow. Now what is stack overflow? I just said, because recursion uses stack space, there might be cases that for a very large number of input very much recursive calls are made, and in that case your stack overflow might occur. So prevention is better than cure, right? So why not come up with an approach so that I would not bother about this stack overflow issue. So if you want to prevent the stack overflow issue, you need to prevent recursion, right? You should be trying to ignore recursion and replace the recursion with iteration. So in this particular video, we will be coming up with an iterative approach to solve this particular problem, right? So I hope everything is clear so far. Now, before I discuss further, so this is the very first problem, and I have already created a video on this, and this particular problem indicates the recursion version, the recursive version to 01 knapsack. And if you remember, I have basically used 95% of this code, exactly same, isn't it? 95, or you can say 98% exactly same code is being used when I try to optimize this using memoization. You can see everything remains the same. The only thing that changed in memoization is, what we do in memoization is, we know that memoization is nothing. In case of memoization, what we do is basically we use recursion plus we use a table. Now since we are here using recursion, so all the code of recursion will definitely be present here. So whatever code was written in this recursive version, all these code will exactly be present here also. The only change is we will be requiring table, okay, when we are trying to optimize it using memoization. So since I know that I will be requiring table, so I need to declare a table, right? I need to declare a table. And what will be the dimension of table? If n is the number of items, then the number of rows will be n plus 1, and w is the capacity of knapsack, so w plus 1 is the number of columns, right? And initially you will declare all of them by -1. This is what we should do. I hope you have watched my video on memoization technique of 01 knapsack. This is the base condition that we wrote, so everything is fine so far. Only these things has changed, right? These two things has been added. This is exactly same that was present in the earlier version, that is the recursive version. Now the challenge in the recursive version was that why we don't want to waste our time recomputing the same values. So what is the solution to that? Better check whether that particular value is present in the table or not. So if the value is not present in the table, the value -1 will be present there. But if the value has been updated to some value, suppose x, then if dp and w, this is nothing but this indicates that this sub problem, this is a sub problem which indicates if n is the number of items and w is the capacity of the knapsack, because you see you are receiving w as the argument parameter, which will be the capacity of the knapsack, and n is the number of items. So the problem is nothing but dp and w. This is a sub problem. So if the solution to this sub problem is present, then what will you do? You directly return the result from the table dp and w. But if it is not present, what we do? We basically try to go as usual. What we do? We see that okay, whether the weight of that item is more than the capacity of knapsack. If it is more, then we try to ignore the items. Now how do you ignore the items? Everything will be same, right? Only we write n-1 and we do the recursive call on knapsack. But you see, since I am using a table in this case, and I know that my problem was basically dp and w, this is what I want to find, the value of this. If the value of this is found, then I'll be returning here. But if it is not found, means it is the first time I am computing this. So what will happen? You will just do the recursive call if this condition is satisfied, and the result of this recursive call will be updated in the specific cell dp and w. Now if this condition is not satisfied, it means it means that the weight of the item is basically excuse me, less than the capacity of knapsack. In that case, we definitely know this condition will be executed, where we have two options: either accept the item or reject the item, and from both, whichever is the maximum value, that will be considered. So initially we used to directly return the value, but now we will not directly return the value. Instead, first of all, we will store it into the table. That is why you can see we are first of all storing this value into the table, and then we are returning it. So you can see everything here takes place via the table. Via the table means through the table. So this is basically reducing your time complexity, and it prevents the time complexity from getting 2 power n exponential. Rather, it reduces it to what? Order n cross w, right? So this was all about the 01 knapsack problem solved using memoization. So I hope these things are crystal clear. Now we want to implement the same problem but using iterative approach or top-down approach, and this is the most efficient approach to solve this particular problem. As I said, why? Because these two both use recursions. This uses recursion, but it moves to exponential, right? time complexity. This also uses recursion plus table, but since it uses recursion, the problem is it might lead to Stack Overflow. So we are not convinced by these two ideas so far. We can still have much better. The much better approach is the iterative approach. How do you solve the problem using iteration? So remember, in this memoization, what we did, 98% code was copied from the recursive step, right? Everything was same, only this line and this line was different, and before just returning we used to store in the table. That's it, very minor changes, and the problem was converted to a memoization problem. Now again we will do very minor changes to convert this problem into the iterative version problem. So just follow what I am doing. Now as I said, that memoization, what happens, it uses recursion plus table. The problem in memoization was it is using recursion and it might lead to Stack Overflow. And we believe in the concept of prevention better than cure. So why to take the risk of this Stack Overflow if we have a better approach? What is the better approach? Don't use recursion. Just directly we will be using a table. We will not use any recursion. We will directly use a table to solve the particular problem. Now what will be the dimension of the table and on what parameters will it depend? Definitely everything will remain the same. How did you consider in this particular problem? I have already, if you just watch the video, I have explained that why I have taken n and w as the parameters that will decide the dimension of the table, because these are the things that is actually changing throughout, isn't it? When I am picking an element, the number of items is reducing and the capacity of knapsack is reducing, you can see. So these are the variables that are actually changing, right? So this leads to some new states, isn't it? That is why I have taken these two variables to create a table. So similarly, in this particular iterative approach, what I am going to do is basically I am going to create a table. Now how will my table look like? So definitely you can see, if I show you the example here, I have a example wherein there are 3 items. Okay, how many items are there? There are 3 items and the capacity of knapsack is 2. So accordingly my dimension of the table will be dp of n plus 1 and w plus 1. So it will be nothing but dp of n is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, w is nothing but 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. So 4 comma 3, this will be the dimension of the table. So let us quickly create the table. So this is my first row, second row, third row, right? And number of columns will be 3. So basically 1, 2 and 3, right? Now what we need to do is basically just focus on the numbering. So this is basically n, okay, and this is basically what? Capacity of knapsack, w. So let me just erase this. So I hope you have understood this, what I have explained here. So now what is the value? Basically it will start with 0, 1, 2, 3, because there are 3 items. Now remember, if I would have used only dp of n and w, the dp of n is 3, then it would stop here only, right? The size of the table should stop till 2 only. But I know that the number of items are 3, so I need this particular value to be there. That is why I am using n plus 1. Similarly, w will be numbered from 0, 1 and 2, because the capacity of the knapsack is 2. What if I use only w instead of w plus 1? It would stop here only. W is what? 2. 2 means 2 columns. So 1 column, 2 column. But since w is 2, I need this particular value 2 to be present. So for that you need to basically increase, because indexing starts from 0. Getting the point? That is why I am writing n plus 1 and w plus 1. Anyway, so this is how we are numbering these two values. Now what is the concept? The concept says that now we will just consider this particular problem, okay? Whatever we considered here, this is basically your memoization problem. We will convert it into iterative version. So we need to write this line. This line will definitely be present. The table will definitely be created, so everything will remain the same. Whatever remains the same, I am just writing tick mark, okay? So you can see this particular line remains the same, because definitely this will be a call. Moreover, this table is created, so definitely we are creating a table, and the table is exactly same, isn't it? The same table that we created in the earlier problem, the memoization process. Now this says the base condition: if n equal to 0, w equal to 0, return 0. How to deal with this particular problem? So basically this is trying to say what? That whenever the number of items, that is n, right? Whenever the number of items are 0, you basically fill the entire row with 0. because what does it indicate? Now what does this cell indicates? This cell indicates that if there are 0 items and the capacity of knapsack is 0, what will be the profit? Okay, which means the problem looks like this: k is 0, 0, 0 items and the capacity is 0, so obviously profit will be 0, so fill it with 0. And this cell basically is a sub problem k0, 1. K0, 1 indicates what? If you have 0 items and the capacity of knapsack is 1, still your profit will be 0, because you have nothing to pick up, isn't it? 0. And this particular cell points to what? K0, 2. K0, 2 indicates what? If you have 0 items and the capacity of knapsack is 2, still you will get a profit 0, because there are no more items left to pick up, so 0. So you can see these conditions are basically covered here in this particular table. Similarly, if you focus on this row, so what does this column indicate? The capacity of knapsack is 0, which means there is no more space left in the knapsack, and if you have 0 item, definitely 0. If there is no more, now what does this cell indicates? This cell indicates if the capacity of knapsack is 0 and you have 1 items to pick, what will be the profit? Now since my capacity of knapsack is 0, which means I cannot adjust any more item in my knapsack, so definitely the profit will be 0. Same for this case, if the capacity of knapsack is 0 and your number of items are 2, it indicates you can pick 2 items, but in your knapsack has no space left. So can you pick it? No, I cannot pick it. So definitely I'll not get any profit. So profit is 0. Same applies for this also. If the capacity of knapsack is 0 and number of items I can pick is 3, basically since my capacity is 0, I cannot pick any item. So I have to fill 0 in this particular table. So you can see that what we have done is we have basically solved the sub problems. These were nothing but the sub problems. Like what was this? This was the sub problem k1, 0. Where 1 is the number of items and 0 is the capacity of knapsack. So we solved all these sub problems, and these are what? The basic sub problems, the base conditions. Now how can we, now since we know that we cannot use recursion or anything, we just have to use this table to solve this particular problem, entire problem. So what can be done? So now we know that what we can do is basically we can fill the base conditions with 0. Now how do we do that? Definitely we have to traverse this entire matrix. And how do we traverse the matrix? So let me just write here. So this is the new code I have opened. Okay, this is the input that I am receiving, and now I have to write the code for this particular top down approach. So see how will I just copy and paste the things from the previous approach. So just to explain you see I will be just copying this table because I am declaring a table, right? So I am just copying this line. So let me just move it down. So very first thing I did is I created a table. Now, which table did I create? This table. You can see on the right. What did I do next? I basically initialize the base condition to 0. So for that I will be using two variables, I and j, right? I will say for I equal to 0, I less than what? W. Because W is the capacity of knapsack. I less than n. Less than equal to n, okay? I plus plus. Similarly, you will say for j equal to 0, j less than equal to w, j plus plus. Now why so? Very simple. N indicates number of items. Now how am I traversing? I'll be traversing for each row. I'll traverse all the columns. Okay. So for each row, comma, visit all columns. Now that is possible only if I visit this way. For I equal to 0, I less than n. First of all, I'll take the first 0th row and I'll traverse the entire column. What is this? This indicates capacity of knapsack. You can see 2. Right. So basically this is indicating the capacity of knapsack. So the capacities of knapsack at various instants are represented by W, right? W, and this is N. That is why, what did I do? I said I will move from 0 to N and J will move from, I will move from 0 to N. So I is basically moving from top to down and J is moving from left to right. Okay. So remember, I is moving top down and J variable is moving left to right. I hope that is understandable. What next? Now basically what will I do? Since I know that I need to fill up these base conditions. Now how will you fill these base conditions? Exactly same thing. What is the thing? Visit this previous code of memoization. The base condition was if n equal to 0, w equal to 0, return 0. So, excuse me. So you can see I just use the base condition. Now instead of returning, because we are not doing any recursion, right? What should we do? We are just filling the table. Now how do we fill the table? Now since our table name is dp, so I'll write dp. Now if I talk about this cell, now if I'm talking about this particular cell, So what does it indicate? It is indicating I comma j, isn't it? I comma j, because I is pointing to a specific row, j is pointing to a specific column. I is pointing to a specific row, j is pointing to a specific column. That is why I'll say dp of I j will be equal to what? 0. So you see, this way what happens whenever you find out that if n is equal to 0 or w equal to 0. But yes, one more challenge. The challenge is, whenever we used to write n, replace it by I, because now I will basically determine the number of items, because I is the variable, that isn't it? Every time I will determine the number of items you are pointing to, and w will be replaced by j. J will basically determine the capacity of the knapsack, because you see, if j is pointing to this particular point, then it indicates the capacity of knapsack is 0. If j points to this particular column, it indicates capacity of knapsack is 1, right? And if j points to this particular column, it indicates capacity of knapsack is 2. So basically the capacity is now pointed by j and the number of items is pointed by I. So what we can do here is, wherever we used to write n and wherever we used to write w, replace it by I and j respectively. So I will just write if I is equal to 0 and j is equal to 0. So if either of the cases, okay, what you will do, you will fill it with 0. So you can see the base condition is covered, right? What next? The next thing is, else if, now we used to write, remember, else if value of, now what we used to check here, just follow this recursive code of memoization. We just wrote this line, isn't it? We just wrote this line, fine. What is the other thing that we used to do? Since we are not using recursion, so we are not going to check this thing, okay? We are going to ignore this right now. We are going to ignore this. What we will see, they are basically checking if the weight of nth minus 1th item is greater than w. If it is greater than w, what we are going to do? We are going to call the knapsack function after ignoring the last item, isn't it? So I hope you understand the concept. So I'm just copying this line and I'll be pasting here. So else if, so let me just rub this, yeah, so else if wt of n minus 1. Now as I said, instead of n, what you should write I, because now I is representing the number of items. So wt I minus 1 is greater than w, then what we are going to write? We are going to say return, but now we will not write return. Why? Because this is not going to use recursion. We are just going to fill the table. So dp and w, are we going to make any recursive call? No, we are not going to make any recursive call. So now what sub problem is this pointing to? This is pointing to the sub problem dp of, you know, the number of items where is n minus 1 and the capacity of knapsack is w, isn't it? This is doing a recursive call knapsack, passing as parameters the capacity of knapsack as w and number of items as n minus 1. So basically what can be written? This knapsack, since I know that I am not going to use recursion in this particular approach, that is top down approach, so I don't have to do the recursion call, so I'll just ignore this. I'll not write knapsack. But to get an idea, you know that this is nothing but this can be written as equivalent to dp of n minus 1. So n minus 1 and what? And passing as argument w. So we know that n is being replaced by I, so we will write it as dp of I minus 1 and w will be replaced by what? J. This is the value that needs to be returned, right? So returned in a sense, this is the value that needs to be stored, right? So what we are going to write here, instead of writing this line, instead of writing this entire thing, what you are going to write, whenever you find out that wt I minus 1 is greater than w, just say dp of I and j, because the problem is basically dp ij, right? dp ij will be what? Now what did we find out? dp of I minus 1 and j. So I hope you got the point, because the knapsack function that was written here is nothing but this only, isn't it? This knapsack function, what it is going to give me? This function here is going to give me what? The value corresponding to the sub problem n minus 1, because I am ignoring the item, since the item's weight is greater than the capacity and the knapsack weight is w only, right? n minus 1 w. But I know that in case of iterative approach, n will be replaced by I and w will be replaced by j, isn't it? That is why I just wrote as dp of ij because n is replaced by I, w replaced by j is equal to nothing but dp of I minus 1 and j. That is why I wrote here. That is what I wrote here. You can see. See, things are very, very simple, right? Nothing to worry about. So you can clearly see what happened, right? So this was the base condition, how it was filled, and whenever I find out that the item's weight is more than the capacity of knapsack, it is the time to ignore the item. So how do you ignore? Basically reduce the number of items, and I know that I is nothing but indicating to the number of items. So I minus 1, and capacity of knapsack remains the same. This is what we have learned so far, isn't it? And this will be the solution to the problem dpij, right? Because that is what I want to find. Anyway, what next? What is the other alternative? The other thing that can occur is basically if the capacity of the item or the weight of the item is less than the capacity of knapsack. Now, you know that if the weight of the item is less than the capacity of knapsack, what we used to do? We used to do these things, and this I have been repeatedly explaining you, isn't it? What happens here? Here we have two choices: either accept the item or reject the item. So see how will I replace this? I know that I am not going to use recursion, so basically I'll remove this return statement. So let me just erase this return statement from here, because I'm not going to use recursion. Now what will I write here? I know that I'm going to use iterative approach, so dp n w, I hope you have remembered it. Great. So dp n is basically replaced by I, w is replaced by j, and what happens next? Now you know that max will remain as it is. Now this is basically the condition of accepting an item. This indicates the condition of accepting an item, right? Accepting an item, and this is nothing but rejecting an item, right? So again here it is n, so we know that n should be replaced by what? I, right? N should be replaced by I, the value of I minus 1, because you see for every sub problem, now you may ask why I am just replacing n with I and why w with j, because you see now we are here in this iterative approach, we are trying to solve the sub problems. Now for every sub problem I have already explained. Now if you consider this sub problem, here you will see the capacity of knapsack for this sub problem is 1 and the number of items available is 1. If you consider this sub problem, the capacity of knapsack for this sub problem is 2 and the number of items is 2. So basically you can see it is not same, it is just going on changing for every problems. Now how will I keep track of that? By the variables I and variable j. That is why I am writing instead of n I am writing I. Okay, the same thing I will be doing here. Instead of n I will be writing what? I, and wherever I was writing w, I will be writing what? J. So capital W replaced by j, because that indicates the capacity of knapsack, and we know that for every sub problems the capacity is going to change, isn't it? For this sub problem the capacity is 1, for this sub problem the capacity is 2. That will be basically kept track by the variable j. That is why I am writing j instead of w. So instead of w write j, instead of a write I. I hope it is crystal and clear. So this is what we did. Now again next challenge is we are not going to do any recursive call, so why to write knapsack again? So what should we write instead of this entire statement? Can you replace it? Yes. This is nothing but this indicates that we want to find the solution to this problem where the number of items has been reduced. So n minus 1 indicates what? So this is not n minus 1 actually, this should be what? I minus 1, isn't it? As I said, n should be replaced by I minus 1. So the solution to this entire expression can be replaced by dp of number of items that you have I minus 1, capacity of knapsack is j minus wt I minus 1, so j minus wt I minus 1, right? This is what should be the equivalent expression to this particular problem, because this sub problem's answer is stored in this table, this particular cell. Okay, the answer to this particular sub problem is stored in this cell. You can see number of items is I minus 1 and number of capacity of knapsack is j minus wt I minus 1. So this is nothing but this particular cell it is pointing to. So that is what I will be doing. Instead of writing this knapsack and the entire stuff, what can I do? So I can basically, let me just erase it. Okay, fine. So let me just increase. Alright, fine. So as I said, I'll be replacing this knapsack thing and I'll be writing here dp of what? So dp of I minus 1 should be written, isn't it? And what? The capacity of knapsack is this. That's it. And the entire this stuff should be removed. You don't require it anymore. Right? So I hope you understood it. comma. So see, the first expression can be written as this part, right? I hope you got the point. One more square bracket will be here to close it. Fine. Similarly, let me just erase this because this we have replaced. Okay. Now this particular expression again. Is a sub problem. Is solving a sub problem. What is a sub problem? Number of items is n minus 1 and the capacity of knapsack is j. So I know that I can write it as dp of I minus 1 because n minus 1 can be written as I minus 1 and j can be written as j itself, right? This is the equivalent expression for this. So again, good work. Let us quickly replace this particular expression by dp of I minus 1 and j minus 1. Done. Sorry, not j minus 1, it is j, right? So dp of I minus 1 and j. So let me just write it as j. Great. So you can see we have successfully solved the converted the entire expression to what? To a iterative version, right? So we have basically found out the iterative version. So I just now explained you how we convert a recursive problem to an iterative version, right? So we have successfully converted our recursive version of the problem into iterative version. Now this will basically be using what? Table. Excuse me. Fine. So let us try to fill up this table. Okay, let us try to fill up this table. Now this is how the problem is actually working, right? So I think we can now quickly execute this code. Okay, one more line I have missed. Now after this function is being executed, what happens is basically the final result will be stored in this cell. Okay, the final result will be stored in this cell because you know my problem was if I have 3 items and my capacity is 2, then what will be the maximum profit? So obviously 3 items and capacity 2, the answer will be stored in this cell, and this is nothing but n and w, dp and w, right? So we should finally return what? dp and w. That is what I'm going to write here. So let me just bring it back. Sorry. Yeah. So before closing the function, I should return what? Return final answer, right? Return dp of n w, capital W, right? This is the final answer. So yes, let's quickly execute the code. I hope we are not doing any silly mistakes. D was okay, this is dp actually. So if you remember the solution to this particular problem that we discussed last day, the answer was 50 only, isn't it? If my capacity is 2, right, and these are the weights of each item and the profit associated with each item, I'll definitely take these two items, 30 plus 20, which is equal to 50. And you can see by the iterative approach also we have successfully solved this particular problem, right? So I hope there is no issue regarding this particular approach, right? However, the time complexity and the space complexity remains the same. The only thing is we have now saved the recursive issue, right? That might exist, the Stack Overflow issue. Okay, so now if you want me to basically show how the table is being filled, I would like to take up the step anyway, but if you have already understood, you can stop watching the video here itself. Otherwise, if you want to see the working, you can continue. So I will take 5 to 10 minutes more. So this is basically my table that I have to create. And you know the size of the table was 4 cross 3, right? Number of rows was 4. Number of columns were 3. So 1, 2 and 3. Now what was this basically? I'm sorry. So this was basically 0, 1, 2, 3. And you remember this is nothing but number of items. And I will take care of that. And this is nothing but capacity of knapsack. And what will take care of that? J. Right? So this is 0, 1 and 2. Initially we are filling it with 0, right? So now it will not be filled with 0 at once. Okay, remember it will not be filled with 0 at once. So anyway, let me just not jump the steps. So what I am going to do is for I equal to 0, j equal to 0 means I am pointing to this cell. If I is equal to 0, definitely yes, j is equal to 0. Any one of this is true, I will fill it with 0. So this value will fill with 0. Done. And next time again what happens, j plus plus means I will now come to this cell. Again in this cell, if I is equal to 0, true, dpi is equal to 0. Done. J plus plus come to this cell. I equal to 0, true, so this will also be 0. Done. So j's execution is done. Now I will just say I plus plus. So I plus plus means now my I pointer will come to this point. Okay. So now I am saying if j is equal to I is equal to 0, but I is not 0, but j is 0, right? So this will become 0. Anyway, and one more thing, I should also make the use of the two arrays that are given. What are the arrays that are given? The weight array and the value array, right? Sorry. So this is the value array and the weight array. So I'll be writing them also. This is the weight array and this is the value array. And remember, this is 10, 20 and 30, and this is 1, 1 and 1. Please remember the index 0, 1 and 2. Fine. Now if I am pointing to this cell, because j is equal to 1 now, I is equal to 1, j is equal to 1. Okay, because I is equal to 1, I entered, j equal to 0, I have already filled with 0. Now I am pointing to j equal to 1. So if I is equal to 0 or j is equal to 0, I will do this. But do you think at this particular point, when I am pointing to this cell, is my I 0? No. Is my j 0? No. So what should be happening? I should basically check what is the weight of I minus 1. So weight of I minus 1 means here I is basically pointing to the value 1. Now I is pointing to the value 1. Now the corresponding element is basically present at the index 1 less than this index. If this is 1, then the index 0, which means this. So it is basically trying to find out what is the weight of this item. So this is item A, item B, item C. Weight of item C, item A. So weight of item A, so sorry, this is value and this is weight. So weight of item A is 1. So it is greater than the capacity of knapsack. And what is the capacity of knapsack? So capacity of knapsack is basically W, right? W. And what is W? Okay, one more issue. This would be J. This would be J, okay? So, because remember we said we are going to replace N with I and J, W with J. So, this is the capacity of knapsack right now. It is pointing to, if I'm talking about this cell, okay, capacity of knapsack is 1 and number of items is basically 1. And which item it is pointing to? The very first item. So, if you have only one item, since I am saying number of items is 1, it means you have only one item with you. So basically it indicates that you can see only this thing, nothing else. Okay, so far you can see only this thing, that you have one item and its weight is 1. So you found out that its weight is 1 and it is not greater than the capacity of knapsack, that is J. So this is false, so you will not execute this. What will you do? You will go inside the else part, and what will you do is you will find out what is the maximum value of what is the value? Value will be maximum of val I minus 1. So what is val I minus 1? I minus 1 is nothing but, remember, pointing to index 0 means this element only. The value is 10. So 10 plus dp of I minus 1 j minus wt I minus 1. What does it indicate? So dp of I minus 1 means I is equal to 1. So dp of 0 it is talking about. And what is the value of j? Value of j is 1. So 1 minus weight of this current item, that is 1. So 0. Comma dp of I minus 1 is 1 minus 1 0. And j is basically 1. So what is the value of this? 0 comma 0 is 0 only. So 10 plus 0 will be 10 only, comma dp 0 comma 1. What is the maximum value? 0 comma 1 0. So 0 comma 1 is the value is 0. Value stored in the table is 0, right? You can directly fetch. So among this you need to find out the maximum value. So maximum is how much? 10. That maximum value will be stored in dpij, which is nothing but this cell. So the answer will be 10. 10 is stored in this particular cell. So I hope you got the idea how it actually worked. Anyways, I'll be completing the table, don't worry about it if you didn't understand right now. Now j plus plus, now because j plus plus will happen, so basically j will increment to this column, and now I am pointing to this cell. Now this is a sub problem which states that you have one item with you and the capacity of knapsack is 2. Remember, so the problem will now look like you have one item, and what is the item? The item will be the pointing to the first index, that is 0. So you have item A and the value of item is 10, weight of item is 1 and index is 0, right? And right now you can see the capacity of knapsack is 2, items weight is 1. So what did you check first? this will definitely be false because I is not 0, j is not 0, so I'll not fill it with 0. I'll come here and check if the capacity of this element is, weight of this element is greater than the capacity. Weight of this element is 1, capacity is 2, so definitely this is also false, so this will not be executed. Go into the else part. So dp of I is what, 1, and j is what, 2, means 1, 2. This is the value of this cell, isn't it? What will be the value of this? Will be maximum of value of I minus 1. I minus 1 is nothing but if I is 1, pointing to the 1 minus 1, that is 0th element. 0th element was what? Element A. What is the value associated with element A? 10. 10 plus dp of I minus 1 will be 0 because I is 1, and j is basically 2 now. So 2 minus what is the weight of I minus 1? So 2 minus weight of current element. So I minus 1 is nothing but this 0th element, isn't it? So weight of this element is 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1, comma dp of I minus 1 will again be 0 because I is 1 and j will be 2. So now solve this. 10 plus dp of 0, 1, 0, 1, the value is 0. So what does it indicate? The value of this subproblem, the maximum profit from this subproblem was how much? 0. So 10 plus 0 will give you 10 only, comma what is the maximum profit you can achieve from this subproblem? 0, 2, 0, 2, 0 again, 0. So what is the maximum value? Maximum value is 10. So again the answer to this question will be 10. Answer to this subproblem is also 10. Now again you have already traversed entire j, so again I plus plus will keep the I pointer here. So now if I is pointing to 2, it indicates now you can basically take 2 elements. Now you can consider 2 elements. What are the 2 elements? So basically now it says that now since my I is pointing to 2, it indicates that I have 2 elements available, element A and element B. The value of them is 10 and 20 respectively, and the weight is basically 1 and 1. Index 0 of A, index 1 of B, right? Now if I am pointing to this particular cell, you know that if j is equal to 0, definitely as per this condition the value assigned will be 0. J plus plus will you bring to this cell. Now how will you find out the value of this cell? So the value of this cell, that is dp of 2, 1. How do you find dp of 2, 1? So for finding dp of 2, 1, what will you check? You will check whether, first of all, the weight of the item I minus 1. So I is pointing to 2. So 2 minus 1 is basically 1. So basically, as I said, remember, if you remember the older concept, what we used to do, if we have some series of element, we always traverse from right to left, right? I'll be standing in front of B first. If I'm standing in front of B, now I will check if the weight of this item B, okay, I minus 1 is pointing to B, because I is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, so index 1, which is B. Is it weight greater than the capacity of knapsack? No, because its weight is also 1, capacity is also 1. So false, so this will not be executed. Come to the else part. dp of 2, 1 will be equal to maximum of value of I minus 1. So I minus 1 is what? 2 minus 1 is 1. So value of 1. Value of 1 is nothing but this value, 20. 20 plus dp of I minus 1, again 2 minus 1 is 1. J minus wt I minus 1. J is 1, so 1 minus the weight of current item is 1, so 0, comma dp of, again I minus 1 will be 1 because 2 minus 1 is 1, and j will be 0. So 20 plus dp 1, 0. So dp 1, 0, this is the cell they are pointing to, 1, 0, value is 0. So 20 plus dp 1, 0, value will be 0, 20. Okay, 20 plus 0 is 20, comma dp 1, 0. So dp 1, 0, the value is 0, 0. Which of this is maximum? 20 is maximum, which indicates the value of dp 2, 1, that is this cell, will be 20. Will be 20. So clearly you can directly see this, isn't it? That if your capacity of knapsack, if your capacity of knapsack is only 1, and you have 2 items that you can take, that is item A and item B, which of the item will you take? Definitely I'll be taking item B, right? Because it has maximum profit. So that is why you can see, even by manual approach, you can conclude that 20 will be here. But I showed you how using the table you can find out 20. Because you can see we are basically using the reference to the previous subproblems to solve this particular answer, isn't it? Now, considering this particular subproblem, how do you get the answer to this subproblem? So basically again the same thing. So this time I'll be very quick, okay? I hope you are understanding how the problem is being solved. So this indicates that you have, your capacity is 2 and you have 2 elements, that is A and B. Weight value is 10, value is 20, this is the value. Weight is 1 and 1, index is 0 and 1. So how do you get the answer to this particular cell? So what will I do? First of all, you will check what is the current weight of this element, I minus 1. So the weight of I minus 1, is it greater than the capacity of knapsack? False, right? So what can I do? I will be rejecting this statement. I'll come here. So dp of this 2 comma 2 will be equal to maximum of value of I minus 1. So value of I minus 1 is what? I is 2, value of 1 is basically what? 20, plus dp I minus 1, which means dp of 1, j minus weight means j is 2 and current item weight is 1, 2 minus 1 is 1, comma dp of 2 minus 1 is 1 and j is basically 2. So 20 plus dp of 1 comma 2. So dp of 1 comma 2 is basically pointing to this cell. So 20 plus 10 is how much? 30. So you got basically 30 from this part. So this part will basically give you how much? 30. And how much is this giving you? dp 1 comma 2. dp 1 comma 2 is nothing but first row second column, 10. 10. 30 and 10, which is maximum? 30 is maximum. So this will be filled by 30, which means maximum profit from this sub problem. What is the sub problem? The sub problem says that you can take only 2 items, that is A and B, okay, and your weight is, capacity is 2. What will be the maximum profit? So definitely if I have only 2 items A and B and my capacity is 2, I will take both the items. So 10 plus 20 is 30, should be the maximum profit. You can see the answer to this sub problem is been calculated. J is complete. I plus plus will make I come to this particular line. Similarly, this value will be 0 because J is equal to 0. How do we solve this particular sub problem? Now remember, since my I is now pointing to the row 3, I is pointing to row 3, it indicates how many items can I take? I can take 3 items. So basically you will now consider A, B and C. And 10, 20, 30 is already given. 1, 1 is the weight. Index is 0, 1 and 2. I'll initially start with this particular position. Right? Rightmost element. You need to find out the value of dp of 3 comma 1. So dp of 3 comma 1 is what you want. So first of all, I'll check what is the weight of the I minus 1 elements. I minus 1 means 3 minus 1 is 2. Second index, this element. Weight is 1. Is it less than the capacity of knapsack? True. Means is it greater? No, false. So basically this statement will not be executed. This statement will be executed. So I am standing in front of this item. So what can I do is basically dp of this cell will be calculated by maximum of value of I minus 1. I is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2. So value of 2. What is the value of 2? Value of 2 means the value associated with this item is 50. Sorry, 30. 30 plus dp of I is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2 and j is basically 2. J is basically pointing to 1 right now, isn't it? I mean this column. 1 minus 1 is 1 minus weight of this item is 1, 0. Comma dp of I minus 1 means 3 minus 1 is 2 and j will be basically 0. So 30 plus dp 2 comma 0. Solve this particular sub problem. I have already find out the answer to this particular problem here, isn't it? This one. dp 2 comma 0 is nothing but 0. So 30 plus 0 is 30 only. The answer to this is 30 and the answer to this is what? 2 comma 0. 2 comma 0 is nothing again but again 0. What is maximum? 30 is maximum. So this will be 30. Done? So it indicates that if your capacity of the knapsack is only 1, and you have 3 items available, which item will you pick up? Definitely I'll pick up that last item, the C item, 30, because it is maximum profit, 30. Now finally we are reaching to the end of the video. The last cell that we need to compute. That says that you have 3 items, A, B, C, and your capacity of knapsack is 2. Then in that case, what will you do? Again, as usual, I'll be standing in front of the last item first. So I'll check whether the item weight of the last item is basically greater than the capacity of knapsack. So weight of the last item is 1, capacity of knapsack is 2. It is greater? No, false. So this will not be executed. Come to the else part. So dp of 3 comma 2, isn't it? This is 3 comma 2 is equal to maximum of value of I is 3, 3 minus 1 is 2. So value of 2 is basically 30 plus dp of 3 minus 1 is 2 because I is 3, and what is j here? I am pointing to this column. J is 2. 2 minus weight of the current item is 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. Comma. dp of I minus 1 again. I is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. And j is basically 1. Sorry, j is 2. Right? So I hope I'm not doing any mistake. It's fine. Yeah, great. So what is the value of this? 30 plus dp of 2 comma 1. dp of 2 comma 1 is giving you 20. Which means pick up the item C. Pick up the item C and then check what will be the maximum profit on the remaining items. So items profit, I got 20 from here. 20 plus 30 is 50. The answer to this is 50, comma dp 2 comma 2 means just ignore C. So if you ignore C, this step is what? Ignoring C. So if you just ignore C, what is the answer to the sub problem? This. What is the sub problem? The sub problem of this is basically dp of 2 items and capacity of knapsack remains 2, 2 comma 2. The answer to this is nothing but 30. So which of these is maximum? 50 is maximum. 50. And finally we have to return 50. So I hope this particular you can see dp of 50 n comma w was being returned, because this is nothing but dp of n comma w, right? So if you just compile and run this code, I have already compiled and run this code, right? So you can clearly see the answer to this question is 50, and we solved this particular problem by all the 3 approaches, right? So with that we come to the end of this 01 knapsack problem. We have discussed everything in great detail, and I hope this video was helpful. In case of any doubt, please feel free to put it out in the comment section, and just like, share and subscribe. Thank you. And rhyme complexity, definitely n cross w. Space complexity also remains the same. What is the advantage? Definitely you have avoided getting the chances of Stack Overflow via recursion. So that's it from my side. Thank you.